Demo sounds good.
Hi. Just gonna wait for some more people to join us. Enjoy this amazing playlist that Gian created. Gian Pierre Louise on SoundCloud. He's awesome. Ooh. All right, Dani, I see your request. Oh my God, I'm so excited, guys. Oh my God, this is gonna be so good. You know what? I think I'm just gonna start and get cracking with it. Wow, it sounded really British there. We need our Dentist Network mugs for this. Yeah, we do. We have like Dentist Network mugs. We have like little stickers and we put them on it. And when we do like our interviews or like film some stuff, we always have it there. It's really cute. But I don't have it in LA, unfortunately. All right, guys. So I'm just going to start. Oh my God, I'm super excited about this. Obviously, this is our Late at 8 with Dentist Network. As you may know, we recently launched our website. And there's so much information out there for you. Whatever it is that you need to know, trust me, go on there. Interact with us. Send us some feedback. We would love to know what you guys think about it. We wanted to do this Late at 8 with professionals in our industry because although obviously we're all in a difficult time right now, we want to look forward to when we can go back to, you know, doing what we love and perform. And we want to make sure that our followers have all the information that they need and that they can progress as professionals, and that's why we're doing this, right? Today, we have the amazing Dani Vitale. She is, like, my personal hero. She's incredible. Like, as a dancer, she's worked with everyone. She's worked from tours to music videos to commercials and movies and series and like everything. And then also as a creative director and as a choreographer with Halsey and Demi Lovato, and just incredible things. She's worked with Ariana. She's worked with Whitney. Like, I could literally be here forever and name drop her resume because she's so incredible, but I don't want to like delay this. So I just want to welcome Dani in. Let me accept her request. A little bit quieter. Okay, let me see. Waiting for Dani Vitale. Hi! Oh, shit. Wait. Oh, you're a bit sideways there. I can't go sideways. There. Oh, this is so cool. Can you hear me? I can. Oh, perfect. Oh my God, you look so cute. I mean, my hair is literally disgusting. And I have sweatpants on. Of course. What else? I got jeans on and I'm really confused about it. Why? It feels really tight. Like, what are these you're trying to suffocate me with? I know. Oh my God. So just want to say a quick story about this whole interaction. Basically, Dani and I are both in LA. And I'm really used to being on UK time. So our Late at 8 are Late at 8 in the UK. And I somehow did not communicate that with Dani. No. So I was like, I set my alarm at 7:50. I was like, go, set up your phone. I was like, I have the day. I can like go over my questions. And then I get a call from you at 11:30. And I like I was like, I'm going to be a good student and post an Instagram post of being like, yeah, come join the live. Yeah. Ooh, I'm sorry, Dani. Yeah, fuck my life. Whatever. Live at noon, Pacific Coast. Yes. So now that we're all here, that's fantastic. I'm glad we made it. I'm also glad you only had 20 minutes to get ready. I know how much you appreciate it. It really didn't take that long. I put like a lip gloss on. I was like, I'm ready. I'm good. I'm pretty good. I love it. Oh, that's like the equivalent of a full face for me right now, honestly. Right? I know. I put on like concealer and I was like, work. Yeah, work. I look fantastic. Oh my God. This shit is magic. Yeah. All right. Well, first of all, thank you so much, Dani, for agreeing to do this. Obviously, you know how much I adore you and how much I love working with you. I see you on such a high level and I respect you. And also, like, just on a side note, for what we're trying to do with Dancers Network, you've been such an inspiration with that, because like your stories are legendary. Your stories of standing up for yourself and standing up for people. I think
thanks.
What a way to go through your career and be so undeniably talented that they have to listen to you and they have to take action. And I think that's just something to look up to. And
thank you so much. You know, in the time of doing those moments of standing up for myself for, either rates or, how we were being treated on a job, it's so terrifying because I was alone in I would say majority of those circumstances. And you assume that a couple people would stand behind you, but then when there's money and a job or a reputation on the line, a lot of people, and I don't blame them. They're like, well, I really want to work for this choreographer again, or I really need to, do this job. And there's a lot of times where I was like, you know what, fuck this job, fuck this choreographer. Like, nothing's going to happen or change. And then you all sit around and bitch about it, but don't want to do anything about it. So I was like, you know what, I'm going to martyr myself. And at the time, and even years to follow, it was like really scary. And, I was not getting certain jobs because of, word was going around of me standing up for certain things. And, but then it came back around. Then when I met you guys and you were telling me about how word traveled overseas of what I was doing, I was like, holy shit, wow, okay, it was for something, and that it means a lot when you say that. So thanks.
Oh my God, like, trust me. We, from like the few people we know that have stood up for themselves, you're definitely like boss ass up there, motivation, inspiration. Like, let's go. Honestly,
I blame my father for all of that. So
don't we all blame our fathers for something? I love that. That's such a good quality he passed on to you. That's beautiful.
Thank you.
So we have our little systems on how we like to do our little late at 8.
Yes.
And we start off with this little fire questions that you have to answer in under 1 minute. And I have my little alarm ready for you here.
Okay.
It will make a very obnoxious sound when the minute is over.
Oh, can't wait.
Okay, I'm really excited about this. Okay. You ready?
Yep.
Okay, name.
What?
Your name.
Oh, Dani Vitale. I already failed.
Age.
29.
Birthplace.
Cleveland, Ohio.
Oh, occupation.
Choreographer, dancer, creative director. Cool.
Pasta maker. Favorite food.
Pasta.
Favorite dancer.
Oh, Richie and Celine.
Favorite song.
Oh, Andre Bocelli. Time to Say Goodbye.
Ooh, favorite job.
Rihanna, Eminem.
Oh, nice. Do you miss performing?
Yes.
One word to describe yourself.
Trustworthy.
Ooh, proudest moment.
Fuck. Oh my God.
Come on. You got
so many.
You got 2 seconds.
I think watching the billboards this past year.
Okay, your time is up. My alarm did not go off. I don't know why. I'm really sad, actually. Oh, I know why. Okay, you know what happened? I put my computer on silent, and so my alarm didn't go off. But I
would say you're always also yelling answers downstairs for me. What? What? Whatever. Tom Kelly Messinger. Yes.
It's so good. How's your boyfriend?
He's good. He's downstairs making breakfast. I told him he can't come up here because he's too loud.
Oh, fantastic.
Oh, God.
Oh, say hi to him.
I will. Yeah? I will.
Okay. So let's just get to. Oh my God, I love you so much. I miss you. Honestly, do. Can't wait to get out of this and just like be able to hug people. Oh, hello. Hi. So you said obviously favorite dancer. I mean, I swayed you and obviously made you say me, but like on the real, who would you say is your favorite dancer? Like, if you can name one person.
Like just as watching or working with or working alongside or working for, like in what capacity?
Ooh. Now you're asking me questions. I wasn't ready for the questionnaire here. So,
yeah, I have like one for each.
Go.
You know, I think working for Mandy Moore is the most beautiful. The way she moves, the way she thinks, the way she interacts, the way she holds a room. That, I mean, you know, and she's a dancer in herself. That she is just stupid.
Mm-hmm.
I would say. Oh my God, there's like so many, and then I'm going to think about it later. You know who I just worked with, who is incredible? Oh, I mean, Guedo. It is unreal. He can do everything and anything. He's polite. He's professional. You know, you just, the dancers that I can throw anything at, and they do with such grace and professionalism, and those are the ones you're just like, what? I just worked with, what is his name? Oh my God, Grant. I just worked with him. I am obsessed. You know, there's so many of dancers I've looked up to when I was, you know, and like Latrina Bolger. She's unreal. She can do everything and anything. When I was coming up, and I mean, I still look up to her now. I would say the ones that are the most versatile are like, obviously there's brilliance in each department of whatever, you know, you're looking at, but what is the most appeasing to me is the ones that can just like do it all. You see the one in the heels class, and then the whacking class, and then the breaking class, and then she's on tour with, you know, Katy Perry, and then she's on tour with, you know, Cardi B. Like, those are the ones where I'm like, holy shit. Like, that to me is just insane.
Yeah, I agree. Because for me also, I'm like, if for me it's more like, if I turn around and you kind of like everywhere, I'm like, holy shit, damn, like you're a jack of all trades, you know, and I think that's kind of cool.
I love that.
Beautiful. All right, so let's get into some of the questions that we have prepared for you. Obviously, you know, this is really catered to our audience. We just want to help the dancers be as prepared as they can when they go into a working environment, and or if they already have, also to maybe be able to reflect on certain things that they may have done and that they're not aware of. We think it's really important. The main thing we get from dancers is like, I don't know why I'm not working, or I don't know why I did this one job and then never again. And that is so true. Like, it's very rare for someone to actually be like, hey, just so you know, the reason why I haven't hired you again is because in this circumstance, maybe that wasn't the right decision, or that didn't gel well with me, and so on, right?
Yeah.
So we just want to present that option for dancers.
I love that. You know, and at the same time, as a dancer, you have to be open. You have to be really open and honest with yourself of being able to receive that answer. You know, and a lot of times, you know, me and myself, when I was dancing a lot, you ask these questions all the time, but when you get the answer, you don't want to hear it. Or when you hear it, you fight it, or you argue it. Oh.
Is that another dog? I love that. Oh my, how many dogs do you have
in the corner? You know, and that's such a big thing. It's like, you know, people can share information, and people are willing to give those answers, but it's how open are you into taking those in, listening, not fighting, or, you know, being a little bitch about it, and actually implementing it. You know, and I had to do that recently, or I didn't have to, but, you know, you as a dancer, or as a choreographer now, I'm seeing dancers make these massive mistakes. And it's like, some of them you want to grab them by the arm and be like, hey, you're not going to work again or for a long time if you keep acting like this, or if you keep asking questions in that manner, or if you know, A through Z. And then you go through your head of, does that person even want to know what they're doing wrong? So it's like, are they even worthy of getting that information? And I had a dancer recently in January I worked with, and I wanted to shake her because I was just like, oh my God, you're so talented, yet you have done everything and anything to make me never want to hire you again. Or if I see, or if someone asks me, hey, what did you think of, you know, her? I'm thinking of hiring her. My first instinct is going to be, no, don't do it. I mean, she's an incredible dancer, but if you need a person there, don't do it. And I teetered wanting to pull her aside, and I just knew she wasn't the person that was going to receive it and be thankful for it. So I didn't do it. So you have to be able, as a dancer, to have that open vulnerability of wanting to know and wanting to get better. Because at the end of the day, you're just a product, and you just need to get stuff done the best you can. You're a machine, and you have to leave your person and your heart at the door. So,
especially for growth, if you're aiming to for growth.
Yes,
for sure. It's a hard one. I feel like sometimes that, like, on a human level, when you're consistently trying to better yourself, and that goes into your profession, whatever it is that you do, you're consistently trying. At some point, you reach a point where you just want to rest there for a second, and you want to be like comfortable and just be like, oh, can it just be okay to be whatever I am right now? But if you're on the path of, nah, I know I need to step it up, and I know I need to make different decisions to achieve bigger, better,
more things, whatever,
then you have to be open and receptive to the, I want to say criticism, because it is criticism, but also I find it very, I find it a blessing when I can go to someone like you, or I can go to Diana, or I can go to Calvin, or I can go to and be like, I would love to know what your experience with me was. Like, is there anything I can add to it that will make your job easier as a professional? Like, for me, that's the most valuable thing I can possibly get.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And it's professional, and it's mature, and it's, I would always do that at the end of the job. I'd, ask certain choreographers, hey, what could I have done better to be in a different group, or to be in multiple ensembles, or whatever, or to be in more numbers on tour? What can I do? And I never forget, like, one choreographer, it was hi-hat, and she told me, she's like, you're really good in this style for Rihanna, but I need you to be more versatile in this Caribbean, and and stuff with Calvin. And and I trained my ass off for a year, and I threw myself in the craziest classes that I would never think of going to. And I just worked my butt off, and then I came back, and I showed her, and she was blown away. She's like, I never thought that you would actually take that and run with it, because a lot of people don't. They're like, okay, whatever, you think I should be better in this, like, and I was like, why wouldn't I? Like, what? You just gave me, like, gold.
It's like you literally gave me, like, the ticket to the Charlie factory, like, it's like
I don't understand who is, but then there's a lot of dancers that are very egotistical now and very full of themselves, and they're very comfortable where they're at, and that's fine. But there's two different types, and which one do you want?
All right, so back to our questions. We could talk forever.
I know, right?
So, can you name 3 qualities that you enjoy from a working dancer, like as a choreographer, when you're, putting together a show or performance? What do you enjoy from a dancer?
I personally enjoy, as a choreographer, working with a dancer who is, at the top, just a good person. And when you put them in a room, they are adding something to the room. They're not taking something away. It doesn't even matter if they're, like, the biggest personality or the nicest, like, just adding something, whether it's just, they're not taking something away. So, they come in, they're professional, they're warmed up, they look nice. So when, like, the client or the artist comes in, they're pleased with the appearance of, the dancers that are there. You can trust them. So that is, if I'm not on a job, if it's traveling, they'll show up on time, they'll get on their flight. Like, those qualities of just mature professionalism is I would say the most important, because talent, at the end of the day, you can teach and you can work with and you can rehearse, and a lot of the times it's not the craziest stuff. So I would say the professionalism and maturity of them as a professional dancer, because that's where people, it's really frustrating, because they're like, why are you talking to us? Like, I'm like, you're a professional and you are expected to perform at this level. You are not a student, you are a professional in your field. So why are you not acting like it? Why are you not on time? Why are you lazy? Why are you not warmed up? And there's a bit of a, I would say, lack right now in LA of that clear picture of professionalism. And everyone just moves to LA, they're like, I'm a professional dancer. You know, and it is. It's hard. It's like when do you put that hat on of I've graduated to a professional dancer? I don't know. I have no idea.
Do you think that's also the reason why dancers find it so difficult to stand up for their own rates?
Yes.
But because I kind of connect them too, because the reason why I can't accept a lower rate for myself is because I know what I put in on a job. I go in and I can honestly say I give my all in that room, on that stage. I put my heart out, my gifts, all my talents, everything I've ever learned. I'm here, I'm ready. And so I find it easier to justify that. And I can, like, if someone says, oh, can you just do it for that? I can go, no. Why? Because da.
Exactly.
So I find that sometimes when dancers aren't quite invested to be a professional in the room, it's harder for them to then back it up and when they have to fight for their rate.
Absolutely. Yeah, you. And then someone just wrote, a professional dancer makes a living off dance and doesn't just do 2 gigs a year. And that's the thing too. It's like, are you fully, you know, if this is your profession, like you're a professional. Like I don't want you working 2 jobs and you're like, well, I'm a professional dancer. It's such a watery thing. But I would say the top qualities though are like just professionalism and trust. And, you know, at that point, you should have your skills set down. So that shouldn't even be like a thing of, I want the best dancers and the cleanest dancers. I want a smart dancer who can hold a formation, who can think on their feet. As a choreographer, there's so much other stuff going on. You know, we're dealing with, lighting or the artist or the host or the band or the singers and the transition. There's so much other stuff that as a dancer, I wasn't even that open to in the beginning of my career. And, I was just like, why isn't the choreographer up here telling us what to do? Why do we have to figure out our entrances and exits? But it's like at the end of the day, any professional field, like a doctor, anything, there's not a mentor holding your hand, walking you through open heart surgery. Like you're opening on your own, you're closing on your own. I don't know if anyone's watched Grey's Anatomy, but Richard Webber is, opening with them, maybe, and then touching them through the open heart surgery, and then they're always like, close on your own, Dr. Gray. It's
love that.
Yes, and that analysis. You're a professional, so you should be able to I've hired you for a reason to make these answer your own questions, and I want to be able to walk away from the stage or the set or wherever, talk to who I need to talk to, who's paying all of us, and then you figure out on your own, oh, Dani probably would want us to enter on this way. Let's do this, or, blah, blah, blah. So,
yeah, I think also to that, for newer dancers that, like, for example, if they're working with you for the first time and they might not know that about you, I think a really good thing to say is that watch the people around you.
Watch any choreographer's assistant. Glue yourself to those people who are constantly working with that choreographer. With hi-hat, with Latrina, I'd be like, oh, wow, these 5 girls are constantly working with hi-hat. What do they do that keeps them working all the time with her? What, with Nick and RJ, with anyone, look at what qualities those people have, because that's why they're hired all the time. And just, and you're in a really good seat. You can watch from afar. You can kind of pick and choose the stuff that you like from people that you don't like. And yeah, exactly. And learn from the people around you.
Awesome. Okay, so another question: what makes a dancer stand out in an audition for you?
Okay, so auditions are terrible. I hate them. I was a terrible auditioner as a dancer. I booked 2 jobs in my entire dance career off of an audition.
What?
2.
Wow.
For Rita Ora with Amber Rimmel.
Yes.
Ashanti.
Wow.
Everything else was direct book, word of mouth. That's it.
Wow. 2 jobs?
2 jobs.
Oh, shit.
I am a terrible auditioner. I am not the star dancer. I don't like to stand out. I'm just not that girl. Like, I didn't love doing solos growing up. I was never like the girl in the dead center front, like hamming it up. I can hold a line. I can hold it. I'm just clean. I know my place. So auditioning has never been my thing. do the combo perfect, exactly how they asked for, and clean, but I'm not like the star student. So it was really hard, I think, going to an audition and seeing all these people just like gagging for a job and they can stand out and do all this crazy shit. And I just wasn't. And sometimes it really got to my confidence. And I was just like, why the fuck am I here? You know, whatever. But so to turn it around, being on the other side of the table now, I know a lot of people have those insecurities. And I know that there are a lot of amazing dancers that just aren't good auditioners, because that's a whole talent in itself. You know, to be able to wear a different outfit that you're not used to wearing, learning a combo, you're in a small ass room with a bunch of your peers and friends and whatever. It's a terrible experience. And I try when I run auditions to make it super, you know, relaxed, and I'm not really trying to like make it this cutthroat environment that it normally is, but you know, there's still quality there. And you know, I do a lot of Instagram stalking. I really believe in like, if I like people, I'll keep them aside and I'll look up their stuff, because I'm like, okay, what do they look like doing their stuff or other people's stuff? You know, maybe they were just not having a good day. Always bring your best, but I would say what I look for is just a person that is present in the room. They've come presentable, because that's how they're going to show up to rehearsal. They're on time. I look at more how people walk in the room, how they sign in, how they stay, if they have their head. It's like the little things that separate people. If they have their headshot stapled and everything is clean and ready, that means their shit's together. You know, and it's things like that. I don't care how well you do the combo. Yes and no, you know, but I'm looking at more of those things. If I'm having to tell you like, all right, 5, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you know, 2 and 4 in the back, odds are in the front line, evens are in the back line. I have to explain that every single time I call your group out. Goodbye. You know, it's just like little things like that. It's so easy to just kind of cut through people. So I'd say, as a dancer, really pay attention to those details. And if I keep saying, or if a choreography keeps saying, after this head roll, put your knees together, and you still keep not putting, you know, there's a reason why people will say things over and over again. It's to just make it quick and easy. Rather than watching someone do a full combo, they're like looking for a little mistake that, you know, if there's a move and it's like, all right, hands together and you put your head down. And if sometimes people are like this or they're like this, it's just like a really easy thing to just chop people at, rather than watching the whole combo. Like,
it's the attention to detail, right?
Yeah, like I'll literally pick one move and be like, and I'll say it 5, 6, 7 times in the audition. And if they don't do that one move properly, like it's always the easiest fucking thing. And if they don't do it, I'm like, yeah. So
yeah, I mean, I have to say, I got booked by you from an audition. And
what was it, Halsey? No.
Yeah,
Halsey. Yeah.
Yeah, and I remember that was the first time like I seen you like in person. And was it Boy? Boy was he interesting? Yeah, and it was such a good environment. It was so professional and fast, but not like, it didn't feel like it was anyone's time was being wasted. It felt really like this is what we're doing, and it was very much, oh, thank you. Like just from beginning to end, it just wasn't dragged on in any kind of way. So for me, I love that.
I think it's cool because a lot of choreographers now that are working, you know, were dancers. So I think it's a really nice shift, because a lot of the choreographers I worked for, you know, they hadn't danced they haven't danced professionally in a really long time. So I think they kind of forget, you know, what changes that environment goes through. And, you know, they're in a different time. They're in a different decade, and you have to change with it. And I think, you know, like me and Calvit and Brian and Scott and, I mean, there's so many, but like we know the other side of the table. So it's like, how can we make this the best for like all of us?
Yeah, I love that. That's beautiful. Thank you for that, by the way.
Yeah.
Okay, next question. Have you ever not rehired a dancer?
Oh, hundreds of times. And I have like a list of you know, never hire, never asked to an audition. I have a full
you have a little black book
for say burn book. Yeah, absolutely. Because, you know, it makes me mad, because as a dancer, I was always, you know, fighting for every job, and I, you know, would see people on jobs and I just knew they were, you know, terrible people or something. I'm like, why the fuck is that person working? And, you know, you get mad. And now when I hire someone and I go out on a limb and hire someone new, and if they disappoint me, I'm like, God damn it. There's so many other people who could have been in this position, who deserve this position. And it's frustrating. And sometimes I'm like, I want to do whatever it takes so you don't work that much, because it sucks. There's a lot of other people who, you know, deserve this spot. And yeah. I would say the people I don't like that are in my burn book are all very similar in the fact that they're not cut out to be a backup dancer. And they want to be the star and they want to, you know, and that's totally fine, but it's just not the right environment to be that person. And the ones that, you know, get an attitude and take things really personally and think that they're, you know, being bullied or called out or stuff like that, it's really hard to have that person in that environment. You're like, oh my God, no one else is taking it like this. Like you need to be on this train with us. Like you're just holding the train back, you know? I would say that's really frustrating. There's been a handful of those eggs for sure. Or, you know, they think their stuff is so important. Like stop at the end of a rehearsal, like running up to me and asking me about their wardrobe and they don't like the color of their shirt. And you're just like, I'm sorry, I'm worrying about an artist on a prop and like, oh my God, like, no.
Stop talking. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't fucking matter. I don't care what you're wearing, as long as you're covered and your privates are covered and you are comfortable. Like, that's all that I do as much as I can to make sure there's shoes and everything, you're comfortable. But at the end of the day, if the color of your shirt is something that you don't like, go fuck yourself. You know, like, I can't, you know, and at the end of the day, dancers, we they are representing the choreographer at the end of the day. And if I don't feel represented properly, you know, I go and ask catering sometimes, how are the dancers? Was anyone rude to you? I ask wardrobe. I send an email to every camp after every job. How are my dancers? And every single time there's one that kind of pisses a lot of people off. And I'm like, okay. You know, even if they never did anything to me, like there's been times where I've had a job and everyone is just like amazing. And I'm so excited. I'm like, wow, I got a good group. And then, you know, I'll get an email from the AD. Hey, just wanted to put this on your radar. You know, Susie from this job this past weekend did X, Y, and Z. And I'm like, holy shit. Because at the end of the day, I could lose a job based on that person. And that AD might not want to hire me because of how that dancer acts. And I feel like a lot of times dancers don't really realize how much power they do have in all of that stuff. So
yeah. And also like it's an extension of you as a choreographer. I feel like your dancers are an extension. It's a representation of you. And if they represent you wrong, then that could cost you other opportunities. And I also seen a lot of times, and it makes me really cringy and really like uncomfortable when I see dancers being rude to the staff. Like when you say, it's like
at the end of the day, that staff is on payroll and salary, and we are in the 1099 drop in and drop out. So
I'm like, what
are you doing? Yeah.
It's just really uncomfortable.
Yeah.
You know, I think
that's the big thing, and there's no instant gratification for being nice to everyone on set, but it does it pays off and it goes a very long way.
I agree.
Yeah,
I think that this is definitely a subject that can be talked about a little bit more. Like, okay, guys, I really want you to think about your actions when you're on set, not just towards the choreographer and when the choreographer is looking, but actually towards the whole team. Like, everybody's there to make something, to make a product and to make it better. Like, why are you being an asshole about it?
And a lot of the times, you know, there are running jokes of like, oh, those damn dancers again, the dancers again. And those jokes actually, now being in production, they go really far, because it's like sometimes production just doesn't want to deal with dancers because of the stuff they bring, because of, you know, being late, causing issues, being rude, leaving stuff everywhere. Like, just a lot of the time they'll be like, hey, we have extra budget for this episode. Should we hire dancers? And some production people are just like, let's not. I don't want to deal with dancers this week. And that's so depressing to hear, because you're like, oh my God. You know, they really, don't understand how much leverage they do have of how much they worked. Because if they were professional in how they negotiated their contracts or asked questions, people, productions, and everything would want dancers around more. Everyone does love dancers and the energy and all that stuff, but a lot of the times it's difficult. They're like, oh, do we want to, have 15 dancers running around? And that it's upsetting.
Yeah, that's definitely something that I think we need to shift our perception of ourselves and how we carry ourselves as dancers in a professional environment. So that, because I feel like there's so much expectation of, I want a better rate, I want to be treated like a professional, I want to be obviously very I, but I don't think there's enough reflecting on ourselves and being like, okay, what am I doing that could be
causing this rift in these negotiations or these rates? Exactly. And that's where productions, I was like, why would we pay them if they do X, Y, and Z? And a lot of, people have experiences with dancers and they hold that on their shoulders. Like, why would we pay them more if this is how their agents act, or this is how they email production, or this is how they treat our makeup people? Why the fuck would we pay them more? It's not just about people hate dancers and they don't want to give us a rate. There's a history to it, and there's a reason why people don't take dancers seriously, on set or in an email. And that's where that shift has to happen. It's not just, yes, it is standing up for ourselves, but it's standing up for ourselves in a proper, mature, and educated way, so people actually take dancers seriously. And there are a handful that do that, but there's a massive part of the community that doesn't, and it puts a bad taste in people's mouth of how they act.
Yeah, it's crazy. That's definitely something that we got as an organization. We got that feedback a lot. Like, yes, we want to do this for the dancers. Yes, we want to, we support them, but the work etiquette of a dancer, that needs to be addressed. Like, the amount of times we got told, are you guys communicating that to the dancers? Are you guys just know about this? Because of exactly that, the experience that has been had with working with dancers has been more on the negative side. Besides the fact that we bring so much joy and light and energy to a performance itself, it's also everything leading up or ending the job, and the communication and professionalism. But I do want to say this: I don't think there has been a lot of teaching of that.
No, there hasn't.
I think that there's an expectation that you come in and you just know. And I think that can be really harmful to new dancers, because, from my experience, me moving from the UK to the US, it's different. It's different, the way that people want you to act and the way they want your energy to be. And yes, you have to be really observant. But if you're like a really young dancer and you're not quite yet figured out yourself as a human being, and like 18, 19, come into this industry, I think it could be quite harmful to think that they have to know this. And I hope that this will inspire more people to grab each other and be like, I know you might not know this, but I got you. Like, even if it's another dancer or if it's the choreographer, I know the choreographers have so much other things to do. But I think for older generations of dancers, or like OGs, that they can be more, helpful to the newer generation. Be like, hey, you might not know this, but we need to look out for this, and we need to try that, and I think there could be a little bit more support.
Absolutely,
there.
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna stop talking. I'm talking so much.
I love it.
Okay, I have another question. You've obviously worked in the US and the UK,
yes,
right? What are the differences that you see most between the two countries?
I would say that so dancers in the US, they're amazing, and Nelly, I love you. And the talent here is just insane, and you can get everything and anything you ever need and want in a room at any point of time, and you have the best of the best. Like, the talent here is incredible. There is something about the UK where, the talent there is incredible as well, Hannah. But I would say the generation of dancers that what?
I'm such a fan. I'm like starstruck. She's watching. I'm like, oh my god.
The dancers that I came up with, we had this different sort of training and professionalism and whatever, and that is still very in effect in the UK. And when I went there, it felt like I was back in the early 2000s, you know, going into rehearsal room and you know, the UK dancers just worked their fucking asses off, and because they knew this job doesn't come that often. You know, a lot of dancers in LA, they get a little lazy because, you know, it's like, oh, these gigs come left and right and center. There is something to the UK dancers where, you know, it is so few and far between of doing these jobs. So there's just like this utter, like, dire need to just make it perfect and do the best job they can. And it's incredible that you just don't get that fire over here. And yeah, I mean, there's just like that love. Like, I don't know, it just gives you chills for 8 hours in a room rather than trying to pull things out of people sometimes.
For sure. I think it's a sense of appreciation. It's definitely...
Absolutely.
Because even like talking to my friends in the UK, you know, when there's an audition for like a world tour, like that, it just doesn't happen in the UK. Mm-hmm. So when it is, it's literally like, oh my God, the want for that, and it's like that fire.
Oh, you feel it. You feel it in the room of an audition and in a rehearsal every day. It's yeah. Even in the class, even when you're teaching class, I love teaching class way more in the UK than I do in LA, because they're so, you know, it's like back in the day, everyone's there and they're wide-eyed and they're ready to go and they're throwing themselves into anything and everything and they're hanging on to every word. And, you know, LA, a lot of the times it's like, well, what combo did you come with? Like, what song are you dancing to? Are you going to film me? You know, it's all that. And being in the UK, it just reminds me of back in the day. You didn't give a fuck what Kevin Maher was teaching to, if he was doing groups, if it was cool or not. Like, you just showed up to learn and you knew you were going to learn something and you're there. And yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely feel more of a blasé kind of attitude in class here in LA than I do.
Everyone's spoiled here. They have everything and anything.
Yes, for sure. Oh my God. I mean, I've been here for a year and I'm still like, oh God, I get to go to class.
Yeah. So it's, you know, and of course, you know, it's just what it is. But there is a beautiful thing about UK dancing. You earlier, a lot of the people that I hire are UK dancers, Australian dancers, Canadian dancers, because there's just something, you know, a little different about them, about their, you know, their desire to work, their professionalism, their thankfulness. And I love that. I think it inspires me. It invigorates me to be a better person. It makes me take the time after a job, and rather than just being like, all right, this one's done, file it away, next one, you know, it makes me actually, wow, okay, that was cool. That was a special opportunity. That was a beautiful experience. So it is nice to have you people around to, you know, remind everyone of that.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh, you guys have to do those dumb book reports about yourself every year about how you deserve to be in the United States, and it's so stupid.
Oh. No, I don't even. I had to reapply for my visa next year. I'm like cringing. I want to cry thinking about it. And it's like even talking to my lawyer of like, what is considered good enough? What is considered a good enough job? Or like, if you're not right next to the artist, doesn't matter that you, like, my lawyer literally said, doesn't matter that you did the Super Bowl. Are you right next to her? Like,
dude, anytime I do a job, yes, book reports, Nelly. Every time I do a job, I'm like, all right, who's renewing their visa? Who can I put behind this artist?
Yes, literally, it's like, oh my God, this is the worst.
I know, but it's real. It's a real thing.
Oh, it's horrible. But, you know, that's a whole nother conversation, right? Okay, so I have one more question. How did you, obviously because you've been so active and speaking out about rates and fighting for your rights, how did you come to change your perception about yourself? Like, when did you start thinking, okay, I think I deserve more, or how did you go on about that? And how would you say for others, how would they approach that road?
Mm-hmm. I think being the most educated you can in the way you approach situations is the biggest thing of advice like that I'd give someone, is educate yourself on the entire problem or thing that's going on before you like jump throat to someone and you know, ridicule them about why is the rate like this, why is it like this, because there are a lot of the times explanations for why the rate is what it is, or anytime, like it's just better to communicate in a educated professional way before you jump at someone's throat. And yes, our dancers severely underpaid. Yes. Our choreographers underpaid most of the time. Yes. And it's like, I'm not going to say it is what it is, but there are a lot of the times where you just, what? There are a lot of the times where if you just communicate, hey, like for a choreographer, for instinct, a lot of the time I get fought on the fact of, why do you need an assistant? And then rather than, are you kidding me? Fuck this production, fuck this person, blah, blah, blah. They don't understand why I need an assistant. Just explain, hey, they don't get it. I need an assistant because you're having me deal with, a dancing couple. Therefore, I need another person to make up these moves, and then I need another assistant to work on the 12 dancers that you want in this ensemble. So there's no way everything is, you just have to explain it, and from a, professional, educated, mature way. And then 99.9% of the time, they hear you out and they change the rate, they add the assistant, X, Y, Z.
Yeah, I would say I also think there's a lot of expectation that the other party knows.
Exactly. All the time too, when they'll be like, hey, I want to hire these dancers. I have $250 for them for 2 days. Instead of being pissed and be like, how dare you, want to hire dancers for this? Hey, thank you so much for your, inquisition about dancers. Just so you know, here are the union rates. Here's our Dancers Alliance website. Here's the latest rate out. If you want 5 dancers for this, why don't we just cut it down to 2, and then we can just take that budget that you have and allocate it to, you know what I mean? It's just communicating. And I would say that's just the biggest part. And the same thing as dance. If you're been on a job and you want a raise in your contract, do it professionally, talk to your agent, clearly and communicatively, and have your agent represent you in a professional way. It's all about communication. And at the end of the day, if you don't get what you want, that's up to you to walk away with dignity and respect and not burning that bridge. Or you can be a dick and just run around with this chip on your shoulder and just make everyone hate you.
Yeah. I definitely also think there's a time and a place for that.
Absolutely.
You had, and the time and the place for you to talk about your rate is before you start the job, not during the job, not to the choreographer, not to the other dancers. I'm like, if you're already there and you accepted it,
you already accepted it. So what's the point of you bitching at it and making the it is what it at that point that you locked in that rate. You signed it, you told your agent yes, the agent told the choreographer yes, you're there. So there's no point in bitching at it and saying it's the choreographer's fault. Oh, they didn't fight for us. No, sometimes that's all you can get. And it's do you want the job? Do you want the experience? And that's, I'm not saying I do that all this. I've never done a below Dancers Alliance job in my whole career as a choreographer. I refuse. There's no reason for it. There's no point for it. There's money there. But, it does take just talking. And if you're going to bitch about dancing in the desert while you're there, while you already said yes, and you have a great rate, don't fucking say yes.
Yeah. Yes. Again, it comes back to professionalism and knowing when to have these conversations.
Yeah.
100%.
Or shut your mouth the whole job, and then after, bring it up and be like, hey, this was awful. I had problems with this, and this, with this rate, and this. What can I do next job so that this doesn't happen?
Yeah, for sure. That's a really good one. Okay, wow, that was amazing. Oh my God.
I love it. I can do this all day. I love this.
I know, let's just be here all day, just talking on the live, see what comes up. No, I'm pretty sure I how do you say swear in past sentence? Swore. I'm pretty sure, and Lily told me not to. I'm sorry, I apologize.
Oh, shoot, I am so sorry.
Oh, no, you're allowed. I'm not allowed. You're good. So every time you do, I'm like, yes, tell him then, tell him. I want to see if there were any questions.
Yes,
Oh my God, Lily told me to do this thing about how to do the questions, and I was like, yes, I got it. I know how to use Instagram Live. Don't have it. Don't know.
We just scroll in the comments.
Just have to scroll in the comments. Okay. Oh, like a mug. Of course I am. See, this is what she means. Okay. Obviously, we got Celine here. We got Lily here. That's awesome. Kane was saying some stuff as well. Yeah, I can't find any questions. This is great. Wait. Sorry, Lily. I know you hate me for this right now.
I saw 1 or 2 questions in here.
I know.
Oh man, so much little scrolling.
Oh, this is horrible. Dani's so cute. Yes, she is.
Okay, thanks. Oh, someone wrote here like about learning about those rules of being a professional dancer and conducting yourself in a good way. You learn that at office jobs. You go into work at Progressive, or like when I used to work at restaurants. You go in there like, this is how you say hi, this is how you check a person in, this is how you seat them, this is what you say, this is what you don't. Mm-hmm. And you're right, there is such a clear and concise, almost like handbook that you learn on most jobs.
That is very true. You don't get that from dance.
Yeah, as a dancer. But you know what? At the end of the day, I think about it all the time. Like, whose responsibility is that? And I think, in my opinion, I think it's an agency's responsibility. I think you sign into an agent. That is a big step into being a professional. And I feel like they, as your representation, should want you to represent yourself the best. And I think there should be more of a like an effort into, hey, this is how you act in a job. This is, and more of like a initiation rather than, hey, congratulations, you're signed. Here, I'm going to just put you on this job. I think that would be the easiest point to.
That's a really good point. That's definitely something that we can suggest also, like for our agencies in the UK.
Yeah.
Because it's so true. Even when I signed here in the US and I moved here and I went for my meeting with my agency, I didn't get told. I mean, obviously, I'm on a visa, so that means I must have some kind of experience already working. But they could have. There was room for them to be like, okay, so what is your experience in terms of like, what do you know how to be on a job, how to get a job, auditions, all of that. There's definitely room for more questions that can be asked to the dancers so that they're more prepared, for sure.
Absolutely. I think it needs to be like when you move out to LA, here's like a handbook of how not to be an asshole.
Ooh, amen. It's so true. I actually started like writing like this blog about how to move to LA for like UK European dancers, and it goes from like, I'm putting it together, but it goes from like things of even like which DMV to go to get your driving.
That's amazing. It's like a little cheat book of like.
Yes,
that's really awesome.
Because I was like, I had to ask so many different people on like, hey, where did you go to get this? Or, hey, how did you do it with your credit score? Which bank did you go to that will allow you to get a credit card when you don't have any credit? How did you get a lease? How do you
fill out this W-2? How do you fill out that? There's so many things. Yeah, and it does. It breaks my heart that if you don't have that personality to like, yours to just ask around, what are the people that are a little more introverted? Like, that's hard. It's really hard. Someone asked.
So that's why that's what we're trying to also provide for people as much as we can, I guess.
Yeah.
It's just information. And then if you make a decision, but you have, like, if you can make an informative decision, that then becomes your choice. But if you never had the information to begin with, it's so, I hate to see dancers just fail through the cracks and like disappear just because they didn't have the right guidance.
Yep.
Yeah. So
I want to ask you this really quick before you go. There is someone, Philip, asked, what is some advice you can give someone coming to LA after success in the UK? What were things that you ran into, and how did you form like your routine of taking class? Like what was your process?
Wow. Okay, so my story, I think, is a little bit more individual because I somehow am a very, very lucky person. Mm-hmm. I truly believe in timing. I truly believe that when you stay true to what you really want deep inside and follow that, regardless of all the odds, I think that the universe literally aligns your path for you. So my situation, I know I'm very privileged and I'm very lucky, but I moved to LA with $1,000 in my account. Mm-hmm. That's all I had. I had no money. I had no car. I had nowhere to stay. I had no idea what was going to happen. And somehow the day after I booked my flight, I got booked on this residency. And then that gave me like a little startup for me to move to LA. And I was like, oh my God, this is so cool. Okay, cool. So then in Vegas, after Vegas, I figured out, I'm going to stay with a friend. I'm staying with Marvin for like a couple of weeks. And then I got asked to do Coachella. And that was out of nowhere. I don't know why. I don't know how. I've obviously known Brian and Scott for like a decade now, and they heard that I'm there, so I think they just wanted to give me that opportunity, which I'm so grateful for. And then it kind of like snowballed one thing after that. And with my personal, like I tried really hard to stay consistent with my training, and especially like I started feeling like when I was on jobs, I was like, I need to be ready now. I don't want to be ready in a year or in 2 or in 3. And I got really complacent in the UK personally, like with my training, and really like, oh, it's good enough. I'm good enough, you know? And when I'm in LA, I knew that good enough isn't good enough. Like I have to be exceptional. So I started looking, obviously, okay, who are doing these jobs that I'm looking up to and I want to do? What are their qualities? Exactly what you said. What are the qualities as a dancer? Where can I learn those qualities and then focus on that? And I know, for example, I'm very honest with myself and I know my weaknesses. And so like one of my weaknesses are heels. And I was like, okay, I need to do more heels and I need to be more consistent with it. So I looked up all the classes. I made myself a little schedule.
You started taking ballet.
Exactly. Yeah. That's exactly. You were the one that told me about that.
Yeah.
You told me about if you want to get better in heels, you need to like go ballet. And I was like, okay. The same week I went and took ballet class, and then that was that. And slowly but surely, I mean, I still take ballet every week. Yep, like even now, I'm doing my private lessons like via Zoom, and then that's that. But I think finding a routine in LA can be so hard. Yeah. It can be really lonely. Like it can be super lonely moving here.
It's the worst, especially when your family is so far away and you move from anywhere overseas, and it's a lot.
Oh, it's horrible. Yeah. But I think staying focused, like why did you come here? Not getting wrapped up in the whole like the hype moments.
Yep.
Just staying true to yourself. Like I don't need to do every job I want to do. I want to have memories that I can tell my kids about, and I want to do it with amazing people.
Yeah.
So if I focus on that and develop my gift and my talent to the maximum capacity, I think it can lead people to beautiful things. And yeah,
that's amazing. I'm so proud of you. Well, you are killing it, and Dancers Network, it's so awesome that you guys have a whole thing over there like we do here with Dancers Alliance. And yeah, I love this. Thank you so much for having me.
Of course. I only have one more question here from a follower. It says, what's the biggest lesson both of you learned on a job?
Ooh. You go first if you have one.
I think definitely never be late.
Oh, why? What was this one?
So that was quite early on in my career. I'm like, it was in the UK. I was doing this job. It was like for a couple of weeks. It was a TV show. It was amazing. It was the top UK dancers. I was like by far the newest one. And it was my birthday. And I went out. And I missed my alarm. And I was late. And when I tell you, I've never been late. I'm never late. Like, honest to God, it just doesn't happen. And it happened, and I was so shocked.
Oh, and God.
The choreographer, it was like 2 choreographers and 2 assistants at the time. And it was,
David remembers it.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure. Oh, yeah, David was there. Oh, my God, when I tell you. So Jerry Reeve was, like, my agent at the time, and he was choreographing the show, and he didn't speak to me for, like, 2 weeks.
Oh, my God.
He used to call me Pickles, and he literally, from that day, it was always Richie. And I was like, oof, okay.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, so that was mine. Oh, my God, we only got 23 seconds remaining. I didn't know there was a time limit here.
Biggest lesson is just always... Anytime you're on stage, you perform till you're like out in the parking lot. I was doing Grammys with Rihanna, and there was like 100 of us, and I was in the way, way, way back, and me and Nathan Tresoros were going off to the side. And
it broke up. Oh my god, guys. How can I request someone here? Oh no, I'm so sorry. This is horrible. Okay, I screwed it up, guys. How do I add someone to this? Oh my god. I want to hear the story too. Wait, Dani, come back. Okay, wait. I'm going to request for her to come join me. Save the video. Yes, I will save the video. Wait, Dani, come back. Hold on, guys. Give me a second. I'll figure it out. No. Turn up. No. Okay. Dani, come back. Dani, come back. Yes, I am at the bottom. Write a message. No. Oh, there you go. Go live with Dani Vitale. Wow, this is sad, guys. It's not working for me. Okay, I tried. Oh, it's because she's not in here. Let me just message her quickly. Hold on, guys. Give me a... All right, let me see if she's... if she'll come back. Give me 1 second. Oh, guys, I'm so bad at this. I'm so sorry. Lily is gonna literally kill me. Oh, there she is. Join me. Oh my god. This is so funny.
I went away. Now I'm back. And I changed locations.
I'm so sorry. I didn't know there was a time limit. But I
didn't either.
I did save it though. Oh, okay. Finish the story.
Oh, so there was a bunch of us. So I was like, and we just learned the chorus, and then she was like, after the chorus, just disperse so I could just see what I'm gonna do with whatever. And so after we found love, blah 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 blah, and we went to all leave stage, and I just remember me and Nathan Tresoros went to cross, and we just kind of we crossed for maybe a 4 count, and then we were at Sony, so it was a big sound stage, and then we just walked off because I'm like, she's not looking at us. And she went over the microphone and she called me and him out so hard, don't you ever exit stage like that. Like, I can see you exit stage, dancing your ass off, performing your ass off until no one, and when I mean no one, not even the concession stand can't see you. And I was like, oh my God, she saw me. She sees everything. And I've seen so many times where I hire people on jobs where they just, they think they're not seen because of, the lighting or the set pieces or something, and they think they can just fuck off on the sides. And it's like, no, you have to keep going. There, there's side cameras, there's above cameras, there's so much where, even for live stage, for tours, there's people everywhere and they can all see you. So just always keep going, because it just totally ruins that whole moment that you just built and did for everyone. So I think that was the biggest lesson I learned. But when she called me out on that microphone in front of everyone, it was my first job with her. It was my big first job with, Rihanna, and a big artist. And I was just shook. And it was Denzel Chisholm's first job. And we all were shook. And so.
Denzel. Oh, yeah.
And friends would make fun of me, why are you still shunning off into our break room? And I'm like, because I have to.
You learned that lesson the hard way.
Yeah, I learned that lesson real quick. And the same thing as you, being on time. I have 2 scary moments where it scared the shit out of me, and from now on, I'm always an hour to 45 minutes early. You never know what happens with traffic or checking in, if your name's on the credential, so much stuff happens, and that is just the worst, coming in late, and everyone knows, 8 counts before you, and it just is the worst.
It actually gives me anxiety.
It makes me my whole body hurt.
when I see, like, when I check my map and stuff like that before, like, I put it like an hour before the time I actually have to be there, because I'm like, what if there's LA traffic, you know?
Yeah. What if I can't find parking? What if I can't find the lot? There's so much,
And especially because, like, I don't know LA that well yet. It feels like I need an extra 20 minutes to walk around and be like, okay, this is where I am. What are my surroundings? And then also I just like to go get a coffee and chill and warm
gather
up.
yourself before, you throw yourself into an 8-hour day of God knows what.
I always say, honestly, being early is the best thing you can possibly be. Like,
absolutely.
Don't run in and then put your stuff down and start dancing. Like, that's just not a way to start your day. And like,
no, and then you're a mess the whole time, and no one wants a mess around.
Yeah, but it does happen. I will say this: it does happen sometimes where it's literally out of your control. And but I will say that a choreographer will know whether this is just a fluke and it happened just because of circumstances, or if that's just you being lazy and that's just your quality, your bad quality as a dancer. So there's definitely a difference there. Yeah. So I think we're maximized our time.
I love it. Well, I know a couple of people said save it. We'll save it so people can go back and watch this.
For sure.
And it's just amazing.
Oh my God, I'm so grateful. Thank you so much, Dani, for joining me.
Thank you. I'm honored that you guys asked me. I feel very special. So.
Oh my God, you are.
To just get back to work and class.
No. Oh my God, it has to happen soon. I'm literally like itching to. I just want to perform, or like I just want to hug people.
I know.
I want to be in a room where we can like improv.
Right, just like full contact improv. I don't even care what we're doing. Yeah.
Literally. Yeah. Like, I don't care if anybody's watching. I just want to improv with people. Like, can we just like be weird and be dancers and be just hugging everyone and just
know, right? Max, hi Max.
There's so many like really cool people here that I'm like starstruck. I'm like, oh my God. Such a weirdo, such a geek. But no, I just wanted to say before you leave, thank you everyone that's like tuned in. Thank you everybody that like took the time to listen to this. And I hope this is like helpful to people. Obviously we have our website out. It's dancersnetworkuk.com. Feel free to join. It's a free membership. There's so much information there. We have a forum as well that you can add some questions and also suggestions if you want us to talk to anyone specific, you can add there. Like, just be interactive with us, let us know, and we will try to provide as much knowledge as we possibly can. And
amazing.
Yay! Thank you so much, Dani. Have a beautiful night, or actually for us, have a beautiful day. But everybody in the UK.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Sounds good.